Anybody would have thought it was just the usual tour. A handful of little green pieces of paper with a dead man's face got you a ride, and no questions asked, which was fine with me. At the other end of the deck, the broads were already barking. A nest of vipers, all ready to start swapping their venom. A guy would have been crazy to walk into that death trap once they got wound up, which is why I learned what I needed to know before the trip started.
Please hurry, Mr. Snow. I can't afford to miss the boat.
Miss Meredith Jeffries. Oh yes, Miss Jeffries to me. She was lying right to a mink. There wasn't just about anything that Broad couldn't afford on her dead husband's money, but she is the one who put down the dough for my ticket on this crate. So for the time being, it was yes, Miss Jeffries, as long as it had to be.
Be careful with those. Pick up your feet and mind the steps.
You heard the broad. Pick up your feet, you lousy drifter.
Then there was Rita. Rita Hayes, a regular chick if I ever laid eyes on one. There's every once in a while when you spot real trouble. Rita was trouble in spades. The ace of spades, as it happened. Hello, Rita.
Don't you hello Rita me, you bum. You no good chiseler. Dirty Dylan shock.
That's Rita, a real charmer. And speaking of charmers...
Are you gonna help me, Johnny, or what?
Name's Jonas, ma'am.
I don't care if you're Johnny or Jonas. You got no nerve standing around doing nothing. You ain't no gentleman.
Now, Miss Bloom. That's right. I recognize you from your movies. Don't get sore. It'd be a pleasure. Miss Layla Bloom, world-famous actress and debutante. She dressed like she was high society, but her mouth was barely prettier than Rita's. Boy, I'm really sorry, miss.
Thank you, mister.
Miss Vera Light, I later found out from Miss Bloom, was a struggling lounge singer back in New York. She was the only decent broad on that boat. It's a shame what happened to her.
And the pilot was murdered on the first night?
Yeah, everything was quiet and normal. Then there was this gunshot and a scream. I figured the scream came from one of the broads panicking about the loud sound.
And you're absolutely sure that the storm came on the following morning?
Sure, I'm sure. None of us had time to figure the damn thing out. That's why the boat wrecked in the first place. We all survived the wreck. The storm had pretty much run out of gas right before we hit the rocks. There wasn't much we could do but try to make the best of things until the Coast Guard decided to do what they've been getting paid to do for years. It was hard to imagine what life would be like on a rock like that. Lucky for us, we'd never find out.
I can't believe this happened. How could we be stuck here?
I'll tell you how it happened, Miss Jeffries. The pilot was murdered. Someone expected to get us stuck on this hunk of rock.
You can't be serious, Mr. Snow. Who would do such a thing?
We all heard the gunshot, you loony broad. Unless you think the pilot bumped himself off.
You seem to know a lot about it, Miss Hayes. Care to explain what you were doing last night?
Oh no, there'll be no pinning this on me, you hear?
Surely you can't think it was one of us, Mr. Snow.
Why sure, Miss Jeffries. There was no one else on the boat. Who else could have done it? There's one thing for sure, Miss Jeffries. It's that the pilot is dead and one of us is responsible.
How are you gonna find the culprit, Mr. Snow?
By asking questions like who had the most to gain from his murder, like Miss Hayes over here.
Oh no, that's a dirty lie and you're low-down dirty scum for suggesting it.
You should watch your mouth, Rita. Don't want to give us too much to sing to the cops about.
You stay away from me. You all stay away from me.
She ran off and there wasn't anything we could do to stop her. We were all worried about our own skins. Too many of us go running off on an island we knew nothing about, and we all be playing hops by the morning, see?
And Miss Hayes was found dead a few hours later, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
But this time was different?
Yeah, there wasn't a gunshot this time. And when we found her, she'd been stabbed to death. Nobody stayed together after Rita ran off, so it was just me and Miss Bloom when we found the body.
She's dead, Mr. Snow.
That didn't take you very long.
What does that mean?
I mean, I wonder why Rita ended up dead only a few hours after we reached the island. What'd you do? Ditch your gun after you shot the pilot, then stab Rita because she discovered your secret?
What do you mean, mister?
I mean, you killed the pilot because he knew you were common street trash from the moment he saw you.
That's a lie.
I don't know, maybe he knew you from the old days, or just figured you for what you were, right out of the gate, just like me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And what if I am the killer? How can you prove it, Snow?
It was Miss Jeffries that time, wasn't it?
Miss Jeffries, all right, stabbed to death like Rita. And I was standing there with Layla. I bet my life it couldn't have been Vera. She wasn't the killer, so I went into the direction of the scream. I was running through the trees like Miss Jeffries might get up and move. The whole time I was racking my brain and trying to decide who could be the culprit. First Rita, then Miss Jeffries. I knew there had to be an explanation, but for the moment I couldn't think of what.
And how long After that, did you find Miss Bloom dead?
Only a few hours, and that's when I seen him. I seen Layla's body and I was walking through the trees. He was hiding, painted like a dame at a show, I guess, which is why I figured I didn't spot him at first. He jumped at me with some sharpened stick like a regular Indian Joe. It was almost lights out for me then, permanently. I don't know how I did it, but I got him off me and turned the stick back on him.
We never found his body.
Yeah, we fought near some cliffs and he fell off.
Is that when you discovered that Miss Vera Light was dead?
What are we gonna do, Mr. Snow?
We'll be alright, Vera. You'll see. There'll be a ship out there looking for us. We'll get back, I promise.
What if we're killed?
I won't let that happen.
Look, a boat, Jonas! They finally come to rescue us!
She was already dead when I found her. Shot in the back.
That's everything then?
That's how it went, sir.
Well, that seems to fit what we found. Turns out you were right about Miss Bloom, though. She used to be known as Miss Lisa Brown, common streetwalker in New York. We figure she killed the pilot and then Miss Light during the hour in between when Miss Jeffries was killed and the boy you found killed her. The rest of the deaths on the island were on account of the boy. We figure he was just some kid left there on the island, maybe shipwrecked like you. But something went wrong and he was crazy. Crazy enough to kill.
Yeah, like Miss Bloom.
Yeah, Miss Bloom. Well, it would probably be best if you didn't leave town for a while, in case we need you to testify. But other than that, you're free to go.
Thanks, officer.